a ship that has a very high rate of fire. It's got really good AP characteristics and decent maneuverability. It's got good utility as well with the radar and the hydro and the heal and stuff like that. Electric. Which boat replays are planned for today? Well, thanks to our recent subscribers, I have the following planned: Ostergotland, Des Moines, Akatsuki, Strasbourg, and I believe your Graf Zeppelin Black is the last one in the queue for the day. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the Des Moines replay then, and the build that we have here. This is Rob Loxian Plays, and he has Main Armaments Mod 1, Surveillance Radar Modification 1, Main Battery Modification 1, Propulsion Modification 1, Concealment Mod 1, and Main Battery Mod 3. So, pretty much everything you would typically want to have on a Des Moines. Now, he doesn't have the unique upgrade over here, which is usually a good idea to have, but it costs Research Bureau points now, so it's kind of expensive. I would almost recommend that on any ship that you play religiously. Like if it's your favorite ship, if you're maining that ship for clan battles and ranked and stuff like that, enhanced propulsion is fine. Otherwise, you can absolutely, hey Wobble, you can absolutely do main battery mod 3 or gunfire control mod 2. All right, either one of these two depends on how you set it up. If you're playing randoms, you're probably better off with main battery mod 3. Just get the Daka DPM out there like crazy. Main battery modification 2 I find interesting. Most people typically like to go with aiming systems. Aiming systems is generally considered the superior choice because of the fact that your guns don't turn as quickly, but you're more targeted, right? You're more accurate with your guns, which is very important because the Des Moines has rather floaty shells. So at long range, you want to be able to hit your targets. So main battery modification 2 works good if you are constantly finding yourself surprised. Like if you're detected, you hit radar, and there's a destroyer to the side of you that you didn't expect would be there. Main battery mod 2 is fine. I'm going to say this because I always say it. One way to get around that problem is running radio location in your build, because then you know where the closest target is. You know where to sail directly at, and you also know where to point your guns. So I'm going to put that out there as a possibility for saving aiming systems. Propulsion is fine. What's your maneuverability? You have 8.6 second rudder time, so I'd definitely go propulsion. That's fine. Surveillance radar, again, is fine. This is a coal upgrade, so you're investing coal if you're going to use this. Again, it's good for a ship that you're going to use a lot. It's not good for a ship you're only going to use once or twice and then shelve it. Okay? You took range in Salem when you got her way back when. Years later, when you finally ground out the DM, you took rate of fire. And you enjoy both that way. Yeah, Salem is probably better with range simply because, one, she doesn't have the radar capability that the Des Moines has. So she's not as good in terms of, like, chasing down destroyers and stuff. Also, while she has the super heal, she also doesn't want to be out there on the front lines getting smashed. So range is kind of nice because it gives you the ability to disengage and stuff like that. Now Rob is using, I don't know if he's using one of the Does, Halsey, Ovechkin. My guess is, based off of these two, he's probably using the Does or Halsey's. Matter of fact, I could probably look and see if I can see the pennant. I do not see the pennant, so chances are not using Halsey. Doe gives you boosted grease the gears and boosted gun feeder. What is your turret time? 25 seconds with this. If we were to drop this and say go here, you gain almost 4 seconds. My volume seems low, as in like, hey Harley Quinn, thank you for the bits. As in like my speaking volume, the microphone itself seems a little low. Okay, I'll turn my mic up a little bit. I've been messing with it a while, and trying to figure out why certain things are working. We had a Windows update, and it kind of really messed with things. Hey, Wolfie. All right, anyway, the dough is nice because dough you have enhanced grease the gears and gun feeder. Now, this works the same for Halsey, as you can see here. And then Ovechkin gets you bonus survivability expert and bonus to grease the gears. So I'm going to assume it's a dough. That's true. As a co-op main, Salem and Des Moines, you can use interchangeably. Using the Twitch phone app. Well, let us know how it works, Wolfie. I thought that Twitch was updating it or something. All right, so let's see. You've gone Grease the Gears, Demolition Expert, Gun Feeder, Adrenaline Rush, Priority Target, and then finally Top Grade Gunner. Interesting choices. Personally, I don't like it, Rob. If you're doing this in co-op, this is a fine build. This is a very damage-heavy build. But if you're doing it in, say, if you're doing it in a random battle, ranked battles, and clan battles, I feel like you're leaving a lot to be desired. So let me pull up a Des Moines build here and share with you guys the suggested build. And let's talk about the differences between these, okay? I still disagree with one thing here on the suggested build, but I'll explain that in a moment. So they go with ammo feeder, gun feeder, priority target, superintendent, concealment, adrenaline rush, survivability expert, top grade gunner, and then grease the gears. So, right, exactly, Duckman. Des Moines already does good damage, so spending a little bit on survival isn't a bad idea. And that survivability comes in the form of survivability expert, and also in the form of superintendent and concealment expert. Those three work really well together. Let's go back to Rob's build for a second. Okay, he's got priority target. He doesn't have any of these three. He's got top grade gunner for more DPM. And then he also he spent 2 points on demo expert. I would not do that either. Demo expert, you get 1% better fire chance. With the Des Moines, you fire off enough guns where it probably doesn't matter so much. And I understand that this build recommends top grade gunner. I don't think top grade gunner is necessary in the Des Moines. I get it. It helps because as long as you're detected and something is in your standard detectability range, that's 8% better DPM for main battery, which is great when you're hunting down destroyers because you catch them in your radar and then you daka them to the death. But honestly, I don't like that. I would much rather see you using radiolocation instead. Why? Because now you know where the destroyer is, or you know where the sub is. And it allows you, like I mentioned earlier, to point your turrets in the direction of your enemy, your closest enemy. And you can triangulate things. If you can see somebody else on the map and radiolocation switches to point to them, you get an idea of the distance of the person you're chasing. All that kind of stuff. Now with subs, if a sub is on the surface and then it dives, it switches. And so you get a lot of information out of radiolocation that you don't have otherwise. And I really feel like this is very handy, especially in ranked battles. It is underused, I would say. I would agree. You get a lot of super unicums who will turn their heads up to this and say, nope, that's a skill issue. Simply get good. I'll say this. I'm a super unicum. I have a 69% giggity win rate, and I'm perfectly happy to stick with this. Because the information you get from it is just so massive. So, look, we're going to drop Demo Expert. We're going to pick this up. But honestly, that should finish off your build right there. That's how I would build my Des Moines if I were setting it up for ranked, clan battles, whatever. With a Doe or Halsey as the captain. So, take it as you will. I always say that I will give my suggestions. I won't say that it's the only way or the right way, but that's how I do things. Signals, you've got anti-det, both fire chance flags. Now note that these two flags equals the same bonus as spending 2 commander points here. So if you think about it, save the points and spend the flags. heal boosting, speed boosting, hydro acoustic search time. I don't know that you'd necessarily need these. Tier 10 ships are right because the hull has an inherent amount of resistance to fire. That's correct. So that's true. You could make the argument that this helps get over that inherent fire chance reduction, whatever, or fire resistance. But I don't know. With the Des Moines, you pump out so many shells, and it does. I've had so many games where somebody DCPs one fire, and then I can't get him on fire again to save the life of me, and that doesn't even matter which one, what tier it is. Oh, you're pointing out against using it. Fair enough. So in other words, you're saying you're pumping an extra 1% fire chance at a tier where the reality of it is it's not really 1%, it's more like 0.5% or something like that because of the inherent fire resistance of the higher tier ships. Now, I'm curious as to why you didn't pick this one. Because this gives you reduction on your consumables, and you've got really good consumables. So I would be picking up November Foxtrot. I mean, if you're investing in anti-debt, then you should invest in all flags. You should also have fire reduction. I don't think I would go with submarines or hydroacoustic here. It doesn't matter too much to me. I would probably go for fire extinguishing, ramming, consumables, like one of those three. I'd probably go for. All right, anyway, let's get into our game here. Fire calculation is not intuitive. That's correct. 1% is not really 1%. You and I know that as wiki editors and stuff, but a lot of people don't realize that that's how it works. Oh my god, SF. SF starting us off. After Harley gifted 100 bits, SF now gifting 5 subs. That was the day Stevie and his first girlfriend Zelda met. Thank you, SF. Now we get the Stevie slideshow. So this is a random battle. Arms race. On Warrior's Path. Wow. SF, thank you very much again, man. That's really nice of you. And I need to shout somebody out in a moment here.
Enemy force detected.
Let's get a couple things together. Look at the gifted subs. I am all set, SF, but thank you. That's really nice of you, dude. That's really nice of you, SF. Thank you again. Alright, I pause it here for a sec because you've got a broadside Ibuki and you shot HE at it, and you've got the ability to change ammos quickly because you spec'd into it. So why are you firing HE here and not AP? Like, to me, this is where you use that to your advantage. I see something I want to shoot at, I'm going to change it to whatever. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. Replay. Right? Like, at first couple salvos, you want AP, and then you can switch over to HE because he's going to, angle and stuff like that. Alright, now I need to do a shout out for a fellow creator. There you go. That's Wobble, Gobble, and Tuber, who I saw yesterday playing Magic the Gathering with some friends. You are more than welcome. I've been looking for the right opportunity to do that. As you can tell, we were deep in the middle of getting a few things out of the way. But you can go check out Wobble if you like Magic the Gathering, and if you enjoy VTubers and just being able to hang out and chill and stuff like that. And Wabo, you are probably going to see an email from me tomorrow, just a heads up, from the organization I work for right now, which is Stack Up.
Ship is on fire.
Okay, now very important, you got the Colombo I think is that the Colombo to DCP. And now that's a sticky fire and a sticky flood that he's taking, and that's what you do with Des Moines is you try to get targets to DCP right away. Rob, hold on a second, Rob. Let me. Well, that's kind of cool. Excuse me for a second. I need to screenshot. It looks like the Eagles passing gas, everybody, and breathing fire. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, this is gonna be, if this makes it to YouTube, this is gonna be the cover photo. Look at that. Nothing says America quite like that. Caw, mother effer. Anyway, Rob, you shouldn't be here. You should not be right here. Rob, you should be here. Okay? You should be there, not here. You are out in the open here. I appear to have caught fire. You should not be here. If you are here, anything can shoot you from here, like that, and then, of course, everything off to the side, right? Now, if you are here, only things from about here have an angle on you. So you need to learn to park up next to islands, especially if you're going to take a moment and like you're going to drop anchor and start shooting. You don't want to be out in the middle of the ocean. Now, right now, if you wanted, I'm going to zoom out now. If you wanted to duck into cover, you've got to back up and you've got to turn to get into cover here. Whereas if you were here in the first place, you could just hit reverse and back up like that. You're not doing that. Anyway. I don't like the idea of moving forward here. This is very aggressive. You're basically telling the enemy, hey, shoot me. Don't shoot anybody else. Shoot me because I'm a cruiser and I can be penned in the face. You're very fortunate that that the Colombo right there is focused on your Kurfürst instead of you. Team Fortress 2. Alright, welcome back from that ad break. All about Colombo, which is kind of funny because we just saw Colombo die. That's true. That's true, Zeka. Could have asked the Fletcher to smoke him. Amazing you don't have concealment expert, but because they have kited away so far, you're able to take advantage of concealment and go through this island. By the way, I wouldn't go through this island. You know where I would go, Rob? I would go exactly where the Kurfürst is. I would go exactly where the Kurfürst is. I would, not jackknifed like Tim, but I would park my ship like this, so my bow is facing forward, and I can shoot the Ibuki for free, or relatively free, over the island. Why not take advantage of the opportunity to fire for free? Now, Wooster's here, so if he starts shooting, and Ibuki starts shooting, you can go dark and back up, and you're still relatively safe. Now, you have to keep your head on a swivel, and make sure that nobody can smack you from the other side, but right about here, you're pretty darn safe. But instead, you're just gonna move forward. Let's see where you are. Alright, this isn't too bad, assuming that the Wooster and Ibuki don't move forward. Alright, Satsuma took a bunch of torpedoes, so you know he's going to DCP. So, yay, sticky fire number 1. That's another good point, Zeka, is when you've got a broadside battleship, even in a cruiser like this, fire AP. You aim for the superstructure right there, does really good damage. Could also aim for the butt or the bow, depending on the situation as well. And hell, that might have been a dead Satsuma already. So, funny thing, Rob, you've invested 1 skill point into changing ammunition, yet you haven't changed it yet. Just want to point that out there. That's why I always say, you need to build ships based off of the way that you play, not the way that some document tells you how to play or somebody else tells you how to play, because frankly, it doesn't help. That's why I always tell people, if you struggle in the game, send me a replay of you playing the ship in the game. Not, here's a video, go watch the video and mimic what this player does, because you're totally different. Right? Changing to AP isn't going to help Rob because he's not doing it. I like the decision here to stay with the Fletcher, by the way. This is smart. And you've got a Minotaur in front. Now I would ask the Fletcher, I would absolutely ask the Fletcher for smoke. Right, Duckman, exactly. You know you don't change between, and I don't either, so I usually don't take it. You know? Fortunately for you, though, the Minotaur's got other things to look at. Yeah, lots of shows, lots of missions, but here's another thing. Here's another thing. Rob took the turret traverse in slot whatever it's called. Right? And does this work? No, it doesn't work. He took the turret traverse mod instead of aiming systems, and you can see the result of that at long range. He's missing a lot of shells. And I haven't seen a situation yet where it would have really been helpful for him to have the turret traverse. Frankly, either the turret traverse, because he also has grease the gears. But that one I agree with. That one's fine. Hey, Neil. Always aiming system. We're going to take a look at the end of the battle. How many shells he fired. Get an idea. Here, okay, so since we have a broadside battleship here, we can talk a little bit about aiming and shell choice and highlight what Zeko mentioned earlier. When you've got a broadside battleship right here, your first instinct, and my first instinct, is typically to try to get the ship on fire, so that forces a DCP. That's okay. You can shoot it a bit and try to get it on fire, but once it's on one fire, that's when you want to switch to AP. Okay? Now, if you're going to shoot the ship at AP, there's 3 places that you can shoot it and penetrate and stuff like that. Okay? Lydialicious, hey, thanks for the follow. One is going to be the superstructure. Okay? The superstructure itself, forget the turret part right there. But the superstructure itself, you will over-penetrate with AP. That's a guaranteed 10% damage. Right now, the Montana is pretty healthy. The superstructure is very clean. By clean, I mean it hasn't been hit that much, and therefore it's not that saturated. The darker the superstructure gets over time, that means the less damage your HE shells will do to that superstructure in terms of HP. However, if you run AP and you get an overpen on the superstructure, say right here, and it's fully saturated, you will still always do 10% damage of your AP shell. You will do more damage with that AP shell overmatching the superstructure than you will with an HE shell that hits the superstructure. Okay? The difference, though, of course, is the HE shell could possibly start a fire for additional damage. So that's one of those things. Yeah, that's a lot of muzzles you're looking at. That's one thing you could do is fire AP into the superstructure. 203 can't overmatch. Yes, it can't but it can overpen. It can overpen the superstructure, and it will. It can also full pen, right? If it does a full pen, it's 1/3 damage. But I'm just saying, like, you will do more damage with AP in the superstructure if the superstructure is saturated. The other place that you can target that we can see right now is the bow. The bow is lower, has lower armor plating, and because of the fact that the ship is sideways, you have a good chance of penetrating. And just like I mentioned about the superstructure, especially where the bow is narrowest, like right here, you can overpen, which again is 10% damage. You can try for upper armor belt, which is like here. You can kind of see it if you trace out that line there. You can try for that too if you want. See this line here? You can try to aim for upper armor belt if you want. You might, at close range, that's a good place to aim if you're in a cruiser. But I still generally like going for bow or stern primarily. And then if I can't, I'll go for superstructure if I'm using AP. Let's continue. See, right here, you're aiming upper belt. You still haven't started a fire yet. There's your fire. Switch to AP now. And when you switch to AP, aim for the stern. The stern I like to shoot over the bow if I have a choice, because the stern is wider. And because the stern is wider, there's more room for the AP shell to enter the stern and then explode and therefore penetrate. And when you do penetration damage, you do like 30% shell type or shell damage versus overpenning at 10%. So you're far better off doing full pens if you can help it. Rusty Balls with the sub. Thank you for 11 months in a row, my dude. Thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate you. I hope you're having a good Friday. And now you're looking at this and think, oh crap, because you've got a Montana that's going to come out and smack you in the face. Also, hi Rob. Hello. AP would be really good here. AP would be really good here. Right here. AP, right here, into the bow. Does a lot of damage. I don't know if you're still ticking on fire or not. Yes, you are. So AP here, because the fire is still going on the Montana. So AP, and then if you want, you're at 3 kilometer, you can probably go for upper armor belt. Instead, you're gonna sit here and get punched in the face. Okay, now you got him back on fire again. AP. He DCP'd, so that's at least 20 seconds of vulnerability for him. Oh look, you got punched in the face. Also here, I probably would start moving forward with the idea being you can ram him if you need to. Because if you look, he's got friends. Alright, well, this is a death pick, but I think you guys would agree that that eagle spitting flame, when I paused it earlier, it is a better cover pick should this be chosen. So, Rob, why have you never fired AP once this entire game despite having the skill to allow you to switch gun types or ammo types?
I think in this match I was focused on getting fires.
I noticed. You got 6 of them with 227 shell hits.
I think it was either a combination of a mission or me just being...
That is a fire chance of 2.6%. You're what?
I don't think my brain forgot that I could switch to AP in that ship quite quickly.
Okay. Hey, Realm. That's fine. And the reason I'm asking is because you spec'd into it, right? You spent commander points on it. So,
And I
that
have
that's
switched in this ship, especially if I'm shooting at a broadside cruiser. It's just
right.
thinking that much.
Okay.
I don't think I was thinking about that.
Mm-hmm. You probably did follow before, and Twitch probably unfollowed you. Don't worry about it. So, hopefully, hold on. Thank you, Frosty Balls, for the gifted subs, dude. Hopefully, you kind of saw there the opportunity I was trying to highlight of shooting AP at broadside battleships. This is something
Yeah,
a lot of unicums do that a lot of other players haven't gotten in the habit of doing yet. It's a good habit to get into a habit of doing. It's a best practice.
I like even when I was after I died, I was like, actually, the AP in this thing is pretty potent. I could have switched, right? But like at the time, I was like, I think I was panicking slightly, so my brain was going, must keep firing, must not wait.
Uh-huh.
I,
Uh,
yeah, I don't
It's
know.
easy for that to happen. And by the way, I hope you guys are enjoying the Stevie slideshow from the gifted subs. Thank you again, Frosty, for the gifts. So when you see a battleship, especially like a Montana up close like that, the worst thing to do is sit still and even reverse because it makes it easier for the enemy battleship to target you. You were better off in that situation going full speed forward, and actually, if you had the ramming flag, it would have been a perfect opportunity for you to ram him. Or at the very least, scare the heck out of him. And remember, the closer you get to him, hold on, the closer you get to him, the more penetration you have. And that's really important. You have to be able to, because then you can get into like full pen damage. You can also get into Citadel possibilities and stuff like that. That's right, exactly, Jastrian. You can do a lot more damage a lot quicker with AP into a broadside battleship, especially at close range like you were. Instead, now we're gonna, hey Jake, now we're gonna watch the, we're gonna watch your team throw this game away. They could have won it, they didn't. Ooh.
Yeah, the cover at least could say his hydro was down at the time.
Mm-hmm. Ah, good.
And Game
Gamer
Awards.
words in chat. Gotta love gamer words in chat. Let's just fast forward a little bit here. All right. So, as always, chat, we could use a idea for a title for this. So you did 141,000 damage. Not bad XP. I'm guessing you had a booster or two going. No free XP boosters. Good credit earnings. Came
Yeah, I
in
ran out
fifth
of
place.
the free XP boosters.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I ran out of the free XP boosters.
Okay, got it. Um, and let's take a look. You have 227 shells fired, or hits out of 507, so that's less than a 50% hit rate. Um, Again, I really do feel like aiming systems would be a better choice for you to take, especially because most of the people you were shooting at were at medium to long range. I didn't feel like you got anything extra out of that the turret traverse. Okay, flamethrower. Actually, that could go well with the screenshot I took. So that can work too. Hit rate might decrease with aiming system. Well, depending on aim, right? But Rob's played the game enough. He can hit stuff. He can target things properly. I think the bigger thing is just at long range the dispersion is so high. I think aiming systems would be a really good idea. And frankly, all it costs is credits to change it. You don't have to demount it for doubloons. So give it a try. Take a look at your replay render. So, Rob, you missed the beginning of the replay, but I did highlight right about here. You need to learn to hug islands. You need to learn to play right next to them. You are near, but you are not right next. And that's a very important distinction because that leaves you open to more shots from the sides that you aren't expecting or prepared to deal with. It also makes it more difficult for you to back away and go dark if if your Fletcher dies and you start losing that flank. If you need to be able to back off, that becomes a problem. Exactly. Des Moines is vulnerable from the flank, so you take away the flank as much as possible. Exactly. Exactly. So I highlighted here, instead of going in the channel, I might have gone where the Kurfürst was, but pointing towards the Ibuki. The idea being to farm them out and kill them. If you leave them alone, if you let them survive, they just become a real big harassment. Here's your Satsuma. You had opportunity there to shoot AP into him sideways. Didn't take it. Kept on pumping HE into him. Now you see the Hanover is the only ship that went after everybody else down to the south. And I kind of feel like if your guns were involved, that might have been a dead, Worcester earlier. Maybe could have gotten the Ibuki too. But instead you're in the middle of the map, which means that now when the Ibuki kills the Hanover, he's free to do whatever the heck he wants to. You're going to see him come back in a little bit. Also, the decision to go in like this puts you in that spot where you get killed by the Montana very easily. And here's again where AP would have been very useful.
But yeah.
So the Fletcher actually kills the Ibuki. Now, the problem is that if you see the Ibuki manage to get whatever ship it was up to the north, because they can't kite against both, angle against both ships. So now you've got Fletcher trying to make something work. He tried to sit and smoke and shoot, but then nobody's spotting. So he's got to come back out. And puts him in a very unenviable position. Where he sees the Yoshino. Yoshino moves forward. And whack! There he goes. All right. Well, thanks for sending that replay in, Robin. Thank you for subbing. All right, chat.